on stage that night. It was so close to getting the news. Can you talk through what that was like getting back on stage so soon after? And was it very much necessary to sort of get back on the horse?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you have to. You can never crawl in a corner and cow. The Vikings don't do that. There isn't. That doesn't even fit in the vocabulary. I mean, it's not even a part of. That doesn't even exist. It's just like everything, and just like with Ozzy, no matter what adversity he came through in his life, you know, throughout his career, it was never woe me or the victim mentality. It was just like, well, this has to get done. So you gotta keep, you know, there's a mountain in front of you. So that's life. And it's either you go through it, around it, over it, under it, or you just blow it up. I mean, the bottom line is we got to get to the other side of this thing. And that's it. So, you know, you just figure out, you can't go, we're never going to get to, you never put your head down, ever. So, you know, and Ozzy, you know, that's the way Ozzy rolled. So, you know, I mean, it's just like, we got to get up on stage and it's got to get done. So that's it.
That's understandable. Back to Engines of Demolition, as I mentioned, incredible album. One of the most impressive Black Label albums you've ever done. I don't think I've heard your voice sound like this. This feels like a new era for you vocally. Obviously, with Ozzy's song, your delivery is like something we've never heard before. Is that something that's just come natural in the process of putting this album together, or is it something where you consciously thought, I want to go to the next level here vocally?
Well, I think vocally, thank you, but I think vocally it's just between not only doing the Zach Sabbath thing, but also we have another side project where we do Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and I do a couple of those things. So I think vocally that just creeps into this new album right now, Engines of Demolition. So, but
and people have to hear it.
But thank you for noticing
to hear those
Yes.
those influences.
Yes, of course.
Let's get.
It's bound to creep in.
Let's get to Ozzy's song. I know you had mentioned before that, you know, you never saw Ozzy after the performance. You got a text from him. I think that's correct.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, you know, like after we did the gig and everything like that. So then when we went back home, Oz was just like, Zachy, we got to end up doing another record. You know, like when you were going through your Allman Brothers Skinner phase when we were doing No More Tears. He's like, kind of more like that, you know, just like heavy but melodic, you know what I mean? Not just pummeling stupid heavy or whatever. And I was like, Oz, whatever you want to do. He goes, he goes, I'm not kidding. I go, surely you must be kidding. And he goes, no, I'm not kidding. And don't call me Shirley. So the way I was just picturing what we'd be taking from there is like, obviously Oz, you know, because I would always tell him like, Oz, just keep doing your therapy and, you know, hitting the iron and keep doing your, you know, training and taking your vitamins and saying your prayers, you know, because you'd be, you know, whenever you'd be pissed off and frustrated, you know, just like, man, it sucks, you know, because, you know, it's like I'm taking 3 steps forward, then I take 5 steps back, you know what I mean? So it would just be like, you just got to, you know, I understand venting and just the frustration of being pissed off that, you know, I'm doing everything I can to get better and it's just like not helping or whatever. But I was like, just keep plowing ahead, man, until you're better, and then we'll start touring again, you know. But
so you really felt you would get more shows?
Yeah, but I would just whenever we'd speak on the phone, you know. So, but he was just I just figured from there, in that 2 weeks before I was passed away, it was just like, you know, figure Mom would probably end up booking like a yearly Back to the Beginning because it went over so well, and it was just like this would give him every year it'd give him something to shoot for.
Wow.
Until we can get, you know, if we could do it more often, you know, like him getting back on the road, but a yearly goal. And then, you know, and the gig was for charity anyway. So just like, and then round everybody up and do it all over the world. One in Brazil, one in Japan, one in, you know, America, one in, you know, and then we had the one in Birmingham and then, you know, so do it all over the world once a year. And then in between, he could keep making records or whatever. So that's where I figured we would take it from there. I didn't figure Oz would be passing away 2 weeks after we did the gig. You know?
Had you laid the ground for any new music together?
No, we didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, because it was just us talking about what we'd want to do.
With Ozzy's song itself, did it come together very quickly for you?
Well, I had the music already written. So the music was just sitting around, and I knew I was happy with the music, that I wanted to do something with it. But then after we got off the road after we laid Ozzy to rest and we got off the road with the Pantera celebration, I just sat in the house, I wrote the lyrics. Actually, on the Ozzy song, because obviously I use all my guitars when I'm recording now. All my Les Pauls are all retired, all my Ozzy guitars. But Adam, who does the records with us, Adam Fuller, he was just like, Zakk, you should play the Grail on solo on this one. So actually, that's the Grail on that solo.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And when was the last time you put that on a record?
Probably, well, since I started my guitar company in 2016.
You just felt, well, obviously it sounded like it was a suggestion, but did you feel that the mojo
No,
was in that guitar?
I didn't even think to do it, because Adam he was just like, Zakk, you should break out the Grail for that because it's Ozzy's song. I was like, that's a good idea, so I went and got the guitar.